Hey guys, today we are going to be reading some character backstory for my current character in the D&D campaign I am in. Not only are we going to be doing his backstory, we're going to be doing the backstory of his parents, as his parents are kind of vital to who he became and what he is. Without further ado, I think we're going to start with his parents. First, his father, Tashi Hawk, the Twin Blade Warden of the South. It's kind of a nickname I have for him. Tashi Hawk was born a peasant beneath a sky that never promised glory, only toil. But fate had a sharper edge for him. Though he came from no noble family line, his family has safeguarded an heirloom for generations. A katana, unlike any other. Forged in a style long forgotten, its pommel bore a black stone flecked with violet, swirling like a galaxy trapped in time. Balanced strangely towards the hilt, this katana demanded finesse over brute strength, and Takashi trained in silence, refining a style that only he would master. From an early age, it became clear he was ambidextrous, wielding tools and weapons with equal grace in either hand. When war called, his hidden training came alive. Takashi saved a lord's life in the chaos of an ambush, felling a trained assassin with movements as clean as a seasoned warrior. For this, he was elevated to the samurai caste, a rarity, and became a loyal retainer. As his legend grew, so did the respect of his liege. After years of service, when the northern Viking tribes launched their invasion, Takashi stood at the heart of the resistance. In the war's darkest moment, when death licked the walls of every southern stronghold, Takashi fought beside Maria Blackhawk Ramirez, a deadly ninja from the Emperor's Shadow Court. Together they slew the Viking warlord, turning the tide in the Emperor's favor. It was in this battle that Takashi unveiled a technique that the world had never seen. A dual-wielding sword style, using both his family's unique katana and the katana of his lord, which was gifted to him in recognition of his unbreakable loyalty. No other warrior could match the grace and brutality of the form. His enemies called him a storm of blades. His allies called him a wall of steel. After the war, Takashi was granted land and lordship, becoming a living symbol of what a peasant could achieve through honor, skill, and faith. He built a homestead, and years later, fate brought Maria back to him. Broken and hunted, he healed her wounds, and they stayed together, not as weapons of war, but as people. From him, Hikaru, my character, learned the way of the sword, the code of the Bushido, and the strength of humility. Takashi never glorified his achievements. Instead, he focused on teaching Hikaru why the sword should be drawn. Then came the fire. The state burned in a single night, too clean, too fast to be random. Neither Takashi nor Maria were found among the dead, their home reduced to ash. Yet what raised more questions than their disappearance was this. Takashi's family katana was never found, the blade that could only be wielded by him, balanced by the weight of generations, vanished into smoke and story. And so, for Hikaru, his father is not just a memory, he's a legacy, a storm that passed, but whose wind still shapes the path he forges ahead. Now let's go to Hikaru's mother, Maria Blackhawk Ramirez, the shadow that fled the light. Sorry if this is a little cringy, but it's just me. Maria Ramirez was born between worlds, the child of a foreign elven diplomat and a human rebel spy. Raised in secret on the fringes of the empire, empire's reach. Her elven blood marked her as different from the start. Sharp-eared, sharp-eyed, long-lived, and on the island where even half-elves were viewed as unnatural, she was a whisper, a shadow, a rumor. Taken at a young age by the Kurosume, Black Talons, an elite secreted over an order of assassins under direct control of the Emperor, Maria's rare heritage made her a prized recruit. Her elven senses granted her uncanny awareness and precision, and her human side lent her adaptability and grit. She was trained to stalk, strike, and vanish. Unlike her peers, she wasn't limited to blades and poison. She learned to master ranged combat as well. While others clung to the bow and shuriken, Maria experimented with technology stored from foreign invaders and smugglers. She became one of the only islanders capable of operating and maintaining firearms, studying their mechanics and tuning them into silent tools of death. Her preferred tools were a modified collapsible longbow with adjustable tension for silent kills, a repeating crossbow that could fire multiple shots in quick succession, and most dangerously, a custom-built firearm, sleek, flintlock style, she could disassemble and clean blindfolded. Her gun was said to whisper when fired, not roar, a trick she never explained. She earned the codename Black Hawk, not for her speed, but for her vision. Her uncanny ability to see patterns, foresee enemy tactics, and spot vulnerabilities, even in the best defended strongholds. During the Viking invasion, her path crossed with that of Takashi Hawk, a noble samurai fighting for his lord on the front lines. Maria had been sent to assassinate the Viking commander. Takashi has been tasked with driving them from the coast. Their mission converged in a legendary battle that saw the sword and shadow fight as one, striking down the Viking leader in a coordinated dance of steel and precision. It was the only mission she ever failed to walk away from unscathed, not because she was wounded, but because she let herself feel something. After the war, Maria disappeared, returning to the only life she'd ever known, until the Kurosome were betrayed and purged. With no allies left and hunted by the very system she served, Maria fled. It was then Takashi found her at death's door, bleeding and at the edge of his newly granted lands. He nursed her back to health with help from his gardeners. Though they were opposites, sunlight and shadow, they found peace in one another. She never took a title, never saw honor. She worked quietly behind the scenes, training guards, teaching Hikaru to see without looking, passing on her knowledge of the bow, bullet, and bolt. Her half-elven nature made her timeless in Hikaru's memory, a mother whose agelessness felt eternal, whose calm voice and steady hands never changed. Maria was one of the only islanders to wield and fully understand firearms. Using scavenged parts from foreign ships and her own design, she created her one-of-a-kind precision weapon, Whisper Thorn, a sleek, quiet, long-barrel pistol that could fire specialized cartridges she crafted herself. This weapon was nearly silent, deadly accurate, and a relic of both her ingenuity and her past. She never flaunted it, but Hikaru remembers it always being close, usually tucked behind the folds of her cloak or disassembled on her workbench. The last words she ever told him before vanishing that night in the fire was, "You carry two bloodlines, Hikaru. His honor, my shadow. One will keep you alive, the other will make you dangerous." That is his parents' backstories, his mother and father. Hikaru Hawk was born and raised on a modest homestead in the frontier land, the son of two extraordinary parents. His father, Takashi Hawk, has risen from peasant roots to become a samurai of legendary honor, dual-wielding both his family's unique black-weighted katana and the blade of his lord. Maria, Black Hawk Ramirez, was a rare half-elf and imperial ninja, feared for her silent gunfire and a whisper-quiet pistol, Whisper Thorn. Takashi and Maria met during the Viking invasion. He, a pillar of steel on the battlefield, she, a shadowy assassin sent to cut the enemy's heart. Together they slew the Viking warlord, forging a bond of respect that became love. After the war, the Emperor's black talons were betrayed, and Maria, wounded and hunted, stumbled into Takashi's new homestead. He and his household nursed her back to health, and there the pair built a life founded on Bushido, sharpshooting, and mutual redemption. From a young age, Hikaru absorbed his parents' teachings. Takashi drilled him in sword forms, discipline, courtesy. Maria showed him the art of strategy, the secrets of the bow, crossbows, even firearms. He learned to read people as keenly as he read the arc of an arrow. At 16, a gang of dark-cloaked kaiju cultists struck their homestead. Flames claimed his parents and everything he knew. When Hikaru awoke, the fields were ash, the air heavy with loss, and only the katana that once belonged to Takashi's lord, Hoshizora, Starlit Sky, remained. Taken in by Takashi's former lord, Hikaru donned the lord's samurai armor and continued his training. The new master's armory held more than steel. It held stories. Under that roof, Hikaru also met Taro, an ingenious artisan who built him a grappling hook prosthetic arm. Their work of gears and cables became a symbol of how tradition and innovation could blend. With it, Hikaru learned to vault walls, scale cliffs, and strike from unexpected angles. Though he vowed vengeance, Hikaru's heart never left the orphanage he visited each week. He shared stories of samurai valor and midnight assassins, giving everything here and back to the children, living on little more than scraps and goodwill. There he met Cherry, the Emperor's half-elf daughter, cruelly denied her name and her place. Their friendship grew until she planted his voice to Aetherweld. In return, he promised to come back for her. Now, with Hoshizora at his hip, his mother's longbow on his back, and the knowledge of prosthetic weaponry in his mind, Hikaru Hawk walks a path all his own. Shaped by his parents' legacies, honored by his own choices, and driven by a promise he will see fulfilled. Though his past lies in ashes, There remains a glimmer of hope that he might one day uncover the fate of those he loved, and bring Cherry to a future they both deserve. That is all I have for his backstory, his parents' backstories. Any feedback you guys have is welcome. In fact, it is more than welcome. It would be appreciated. I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. I hope we see each other again in the next video. And, well, bye!